I've got some travel coming up, so I want to make sure that we kept our regular live stream going while I was traveling. So let's start off. Again, I'm just recording this a day earlier, so no big deal. But let's start off with a lesson in boundaries that I got from my barber yesterday. It's got a nice haircut, getting ready for my trip. Um, And we sat down, we were talking as I was getting my hair cut and everything. I've been going to her for about 5 years and know her quite well and everything. Um, and again, I live in the LA area, so I shouldn't have been surprised when she just said, "Yeah, I make everyone go through my portal to book time. I don't care how famous they are." And I'm like, "Okay." Which kind of struck me, and I shouldn't be surprised that she would have famous clients where she cut their hair. I really shouldn't get be in the area that I live in. Um, so got to talking a little bit more, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I make everybody. I don't care who they are. They go through my website, they book their time and everything. If they call in and they say, 'Hey, I'm going to be 20 minutes late,' I tell them, 'Hey, I'm going to cancel. You book when you have free time.'" Um, she'll get requests, and she was telling me how they try to get her personal phone number and text her and have them, put on have them fill out the form and the calendar and all that stuff. And she tells them, "No, go on the website." And I thought that was really interesting, because we actually talked a little bit more. And she's like, "One of the things I think that why everyone feels comfortable with me is because I treat everyone the same." And it's true that I've seen her talk with other people while I was waiting to get my hair cut and stuff. And again, it's just a very comfortable place, and she treats everyone the same. But as a lesson in boundaries, um, she's very confident and very much has boundaries in the sense of saying, "Hey, one of my boundaries is that everybody needs to book their own appointment." Now, again, if you have an assistant, have your assistant book the appointment. Don't call me. I'm a solo person here. I don't have time to book an appointment for you and look in the calendar and compare and do all that stuff. The other thing was, if you're late, if it's within reason, she's cool. Again, I drive an hour um to get my hair cut, and I know that may sound odd, but she does a really good job. She's consistent. You know, I love going down to the area. I used to live down there, so that's why I know her and all this stuff. And I've been going there for 5 years, and again, good haircut. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do that. Uh, but I think one time I was maybe about 10 or 15 minutes late, and she's like, "Fine, I can work with that. But if it gets much later, I won't be able to." And I think that's really healthy to have good boundaries, because she has this within her business where she has certain boundaries that she keeps. And again, she doesn't have people cross them. And if they try, she tells them, "No, you can't cross this boundary." But I think a lot of time in our job search and the things that we do in regards to job search, we kind of forget that we need to have some boundaries too. And that we need to understand that when we're interviewing the company as much as they're interviewing us for the position. So again, we need to make sure that we do our due diligence and do those things, and make sure that when we're going after positions, that they align with our values, and that we don't ignore warning signs and stuff like that. So it's good to have boundaries. It's good to keep boundaries. And if you find that your boundaries are being crossed, you need to let people know. So that's the first one. The next, you're gonna laugh again. You're gonna go and say, "Why is he talking about baseball again?" As you know from one of the other live streams, I am a big Mets fan, and um, again, the Mets have been doing a lot of trading of recently of getting rid of some of their active roster players and moving them along. In fact, their number one and number two pitchers. Um, and I kind of wanted to bring up that, moving job locations and stuff that can be really stressful and hard. I know this from my personal experience as well. I moved overseas twice in my career, and there's packing up and doing all those things, and it's a stressful time, and it's a stressful time even for baseball players. Maybe except for one baseball player, who's actually going back to the team he came from. So, yeah, I think he still has a house in Texas, so I think he'll be okay. But a lot of times they'll end up in hotels until they find places. They keep their houses in in the city that they were based in before because they have families and kids and all that stuff. And there's all these different things. Uh, so what I'm kind of getting at with this is it doesn't matter who you are. This is a very stressful time in a person's life. When you're moving jobs and you're moving locations and you're doing those things, it is a stressful time and you can't get around it. Again, if you're moving locations, you're packing things up, you're doing all those things, even if you're not, you know, it's one of those things you need to keep a positive mindset. And this is, I guess, a little bit of an intro to what my blog post for this week is. It's actually the importance of maintaining a positive mindset during job search. Now, again, this is one of those things where I don't think we spend a lot of time talking about it. We talk about all the things that go into it. We talk about, oh, I need to have a great resume. I need to get my resume out there. I need to network. I need to go for interviews and stuff like that. We talk about the very tactical things that go on with that. But the truth of the matter is looking for a new job, be it because you are unemployed and you need to work and you need to find a new position, or you're in a position you're not happy and you want to make a change, or you want to improve your situation, get more pay, whatever it is. Looking for a job is a daunting task and it is stressful. There are a lot of factors to kind of consider. You've got a certain level of skills and experience, and you want to make sure that you're leveraging the best of that. The job market, you want to make sure you're getting your desired salary. And again, moving all these different pieces, it can get really discouraging and frustrating if things don't just kind of fall into place. But it's important to maintain a positive mindset because all those things come out when you don't have a positive mindset. Again, it's you get that feeling of, oh, there's something off. You may not be able to put your finger on it, but a lot of times as somebody who's interviewed people, you kind of get the sense that something's off, you don't know what. And that may be the difference between saying yes or saying no, let's look at somebody else. So, again, having a positive attitude can have a lot of different benefits during job search. Well, it keeps you motivated, even during those times when you're kind of feeling, when you're feeling positive, you're more likely to put in the time and the effort to do the things that you need to do, the hard things. The next thing is it makes you more attractive to potential employers. You know, th- there's that saying where if you smile, the whole world smiles with you. It's the same thing. It makes you more attractive to potential employers because your attitude is one that, hey, I can come in there, I can make a difference, I know I can. It's that confidence. Okay. And then studies have shown that people with positive attitudes are more likely to be hired than those with negative attitudes. And of course, it makes sense. Why would you bring a negative force into an organization when you're trying to build something? So, those are like some of the things that you need to keep in mind. Now, there are a number of things that you can do to maintain a positive mindset during your job search. And here are just a few little tips for you. First and foremost, you need to set some realistic goals. Finding a job overnight is not happening. It rarely does. So it's going to take some time and effort. So set some realistic goals and celebrate your small successes. And it can be something as simple as, hey, you know, I want to get these three things accomplished today. If you do that, celebrate it. Hey, I did what I wanted to get done. If you don't beat yourself up. Use it as an opportunity to learn what did you need to do to make that happen? What kept you from doing that so you can avoid those pitfalls again. The next is to focus in on your strengths. Make a list of what your skills and experiences are and focus in on the things that you're good at. Okay, it'll help you feel more confident. So when you're looking for a job and you're looking for that next opportunity, lean into your strengths. Because again, it keeps you confident, keeps you positive. Hey, I know I can do this. I can walk in and I can make an immediate impact. Next is network with people in your field. Talk to friends, family, former colleagues. I know networking for people is difficult. I know for me it's difficult. And heck, for 25 years, my job was to network with people. It was to interview people. I was, an HR leader. So I get it. But it's important to be able to network with those people. So start small. And again, it goes back to setting realistic goals. So start small and go after those people. Talk to friends, talk to family, talk to former colleagues. And although you may be embarrassed in putting yourself out there, humans are naturally hardwired to help. So you may be pleasantly surprised that these people will want to help you. And that's what you want. You want people's help. Okay. You need to visualize success. And I know that sounds a little woo woo, and that's okay. But the truth is, you need to keep kind of visualizing what success is going to look like. Because if you visualize what success is going to look like, then you know what you need to be on the lookout for. And then what you need to be on the lookout for from a standpoint of what you don't want. So it goes both ways. The other thing is practice some positive self-talk. Usually that voice inside our head talks about a lot of negative things. The things I should have done, the things I could have done, the things that um we use language quite honestly on ourselves that if we used it on other people, we would be mortified. Or if we saw somebody else talking to somebody like that, we would be like, you have no right to talk to that person like that. But we internalize it and we do it to ourselves. And all we're doing is we're just knocking ourselves down and we're killing that positive attitude. We're degrading our mindset. And all we're creating is we're creating anxiety. Okay. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure that you're eating healthy foods. You're getting some sort of exercise. It can be something as simple as taking your dog out for a walk or going to the doggy park with them. It could be going shopping and wandering the farmer's market and doing stuff, but get out. Don't stay cooped up in the house. Again, we're in the middle of summertime. It can be difficult to get out, especially in places where there's a heat wave going on. And again, I am flying into one of those places on Thursday. Um, but again, it's important to take care of yourself, get out, get exercise, get some sleep, you know, have some good habits. And we talked about this earlier about having good habits. Okay. The other thing is get support from others. Talk to your friends, talk to your friend. talk to your friends, talk to your family. Get a career coach, somebody who is somebody who can be on your side and somebody who can tell it to you straight. You also need somebody who's going to be able to be supportive. So if you know somebody who's not supportive, they may not be the right person to have in your corner for this specific thing. But a lot of times, if you get like a coach of some sort, they can see things that you may not see. I call it the blind spot, and everybody has that blind spot. So if you can remove that blind spot, it really helps. And again, it's getting that support just helps shorten that time to your next opportunity. It's proven. The other thing is don't give up. It's really easy to go out there and bang your head over and over and over again. And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Job search and looking for a new opportunity is different than anything else that we do in our lives. As we do it more and more often, we get more practice and the better we get at it. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes for looking at new opportunities and new jobs, we don't do it that often. And the whole basis of looking for a new job is based on failing. It's reverse of what everything else we do in this world. Because what ends up happening with your job search is you go out there, and even if you're successful on the first try, you go out there, you're done with your job search when you got your job, right? If it takes a while and you're interviewing at different places, you fail, you fail, you fail, and then you succeed, and then job search is over. And that's why keeping a positive mindset is important. So keep those things in mind. There are some resources in the blog post. Go to my website. You can see it. It's up here in the corner there. And then this way you can kind of get some more information as well. Now, I'm really, really excited. I'm actually going to have my first guest uh, interview next week. And this is kind of a little tee up for it, because we're talking about mindset, we're talking about uh, performance anxiety and stuff like that. So next week, I will be actually in Houston, Texas. For those of you who may know, I had lived there for a number of years before moving to sunny California. The hurricanes and all that stuff were just kind of getting to us, and we decided on something different. So we exchanged hurricanes for earthquakes, basically. Um, but I will be talking to Tina, who is the head of mytutor.com, and she specifically works with people who are preparing for standardized tests. Now you're saying, what does a person who is training people or teaching people how to prepare for standardized testing have to do with job search and career development and all those things? And the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of crossover. And the reason there's a lot of crossover is this: the anxiety that you have when you are looking for work and the pressure you put on yourself a lot of times can take you out of the game. So, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about performance anxiety and kind of how she works her clients and works her people kind of through that path so that they can show up with a positive mindset, bring down the anxiety, and more importantly, n- ace their test. Now, again, like you probably saying, what does testing have to do with interviewing? And the truth of the matter is, an interview is a test. You're being tested, you're being quizzed, you're being questioned. about your skills, your ability, and whether or not you can do the job. What is more anxiety inducing than having a person sitting across from you quizzing you on, hey, I noticed on your resume you did this, and I noticed that you did that. Tell me more about that. And then you have to go back in your head and say, oh, wait a second. Let me think about how I did that. It's one of the reasons I tell my clients over and over again that preparation is important, but the whole process is anxiety driven. So, we're going to talk about performance anxiety, and we're going to talk about how she guides her students to show up in a way where they can put things in a way that they can show up and highlight the skills and highlight the knowledge that they have during this high pressure situation. So that's kind of it for this week. Again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Um, let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that are kind of out there yet. Um, you know, if you want to go and you want to check out Tina's website, uh, learn a little bit more about what she does and how she does it, scan that code that's right below me here, and it will actually take you to her website. Um, Again, really interesting person. She's got a really interesting background. She worked in corporate before doing this, so she has a lot of great insight. Now, if you want to go and you want to book an informational meeting with me to learn a little bit more about what I do and how I help people with these transitions and do those things, you can book your informational interview here, and you just scan the code again, and then it will take you to my calendar, and you can book free time and everything. And then again, I'm all about giving some free stuff away here. I did a recent webinar, and basically, it's the three things you can do to prepare for a possible job change or layoff. It's got some great information on the things you need to do and the things you need to kind of get straight before you either make that move yourself, or if you see the writing on the wall, not to be surprised and actually have a path forward before you need it. So again, scan that code. You'll actually get access to the masterclass. It's about 2 hours where I go through these three things. It's quite comprehensive. It's got a lot of great information in there, and it's just a great way to kind of understand some of the ways that I help people do the things that they do. And it's absolutely free. There's no obligation. You can watch it, be done with it afterwards, and say, "Hey, this was great information," and go on from there. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next week from Houston, Texas, and talking with Tina. So it's going to be a little bit of a different format than we've been doing in the past. Um, and I will see you next week. Take care.